talked about it yesterday, just that chip on your shoulder. Everyone talking about a neutral AFC championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. Back-to-back champs, kings of the north with it. Thinking they can hang with us, still ain't jumped out the porch with it. Long bomb to chase every Sunday, watch him go and get it. Double up on him, then we gon' double down on T. Higgins. Then throw Boyd in the mix, now you really iffy. Every Sunday showing boys how to really gritty. They try to shuffle up the game on us, but they ain't icky. Flip the coin, kick the toe right to the go and get it. Never know what's gon' happen when Joe drop back. He get shiesty in the pocket, I get shiesty on the track. Nobody on the team all pro, that's all cap. Most all around team in the NFL, that's all fact. Ain't came across nobody yet that seem like they can hang with us. They said we couldn't be Buffalo, but see how we call they bluff. Underdogs every week, they keep on trying to label us. Put your money on us, even if Vegas don't favor us. No matter what, we really came up, now it's hard to fail. I dare you come across that middle, Von gon' ring your bell. I know we under they skin, them boys built frail. Eli Apple out there chirping like a next tail. You don't want Sam and Trey to come off them ends. Rita clogging up the middle like a big body Benz. Right behind them Logan and Pratt, the turnover twins. Jesse Bates in the backfield just to clean up the loose ends. We just drafted Cam and drafted Hill. Instant gratification every time that they on the field. We can't go back to what we was, cause that's the loser way. It's been hard to throw on us since we picked up a woozy. It's like win after win, feel like we could really do it. Zach Taylor doing his thing for the city, I give it to him. And I bet Samaji will find a hole if you give it to him. Hayden Hurst don't need a hole, he just plan on running through him. Just hand it off to 28 and let him do the dash. Getting hit by BJ Hill probably feel like a car crash. Every week it seem like Lou digging deeper in his bag. And if the game on the line, all my favorite money match. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up.
What do we say, Dolph?
That's right. They got to play us. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the show. This is Bengals Talk with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the back-to-back AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. Now, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. Up to 2,187 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Now, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, why not? Please do so. Please go to the YouTube channel, Bengals Talk with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for the notification. Every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you got a question for me or Richard Skinner, which he's not here yet, and he told me, he emailed me, say be on 11. That's why I'm on now. Hopefully Richard will be on. If not, this is going to be a really short show. But if you want to give me a super chat, I would greatly appreciate it. And this show and every show is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. Say if you need a house, apartment, condo, if you just got a rental property you don't want to manage anymore, tired of it, messing with all of it, give T Properties a shot and they'll take care of the rest. And you know it. I wear it every single day. I'm wearing the camo stuff today. I got the Jackpot Joey hat on. We got the flag. We got the beer. This is a Joe Burrow, actually, T-shirt that I just was given. I love it. It's got salute to the service on it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, not this shirt, but the hats and the flags and everything else you can get at jackpotjoey9.com. Portion of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund and the Joe Burrow Fund. So what's up to everybody in the chat? I'm glad you guys all joined me a little earlier than normal. Strangers in there, Houday. Jerome's in there, stranger again. Iceman Crown's up there, and Alex. You got it. We just start with questions from the chat right now until Richard jumps on, and if Richard doesn't, then it can just be you and me talking. Jamar Gibbs or Darnell Washington 28. I like Cansey or Darnell Wright too. I kind of tweeted this out earlier. My thought process is right now that if one of the tight ends or right tackles that they have a first round grade on is not there, I think it's going to be Emmanuel Forbes. That's what I'm thinking right now. That's just the way I think things are going. We're doing I was in a Twitter space earlier this morning, listening to it a lot at work, and then when I got out of work, I was able to talk on it. That's what I kind of said this morning that I think Forbes could be the pick at 28 because I don't think there's a chance Michael Mayer's not going to be there. Darnell Wright's not going to be there. DeJuan Jones, if he's there, that's a reach. A lot of people, since he hasn't got on a scale, he looks overweight and out of shape, as a lot of people are saying. So that's why he's dropping. So that's why I kind of think you wait and hopefully get him at 60. So that's where I'm more leaning toward. I think Forbes might be the pick. Just what I think. And if DeJuan Jones is there, you get in the second round, and then you can get a tight end in the third round because with them signing up Irv Smith, we don't have to have a starting tight end. He is our starting tight end. So, that's just kind of where I think things are at. And of course, as always, he is one of the best guys that I love to have on the show. Every time he has a chance to call on the show, Richard comes on. So he had me worried there for a little bit because I'm going live. I didn't see him yet, but he's in the waiting room. Let's get to Skinny. Skinny, what's going on, brother? Can you hear me? Hello, Richard.
Nice. How are you, man?
Hey, what's up, buddy? What's going on?
I got you.
All right, cool.
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're just talking 28, the Bengals here. And kind of what my thought is right now is if a right tackle and a tight end that the Bengals have a first-round grade on is not there, and it's more likely it's not going to be there, that I think Emmanuel Forbes might be the pick at 28. Where are you at on all that?
Yeah, I'm not in the tackle drill. I think they've learned their lesson about first-round offensive linemen over the years. Back to Cedric Ogbuehi, to Billy Price. And I think you've seen it the last few years that they've gone the free agent route. You have a free agent at right guard. You have a free agent at center. You had a free agent last year at right tackle. You have a free agent now at left tackle. And Vols.
Hey, Skinny, you're breaking up.
But I just think any more for them on offensive linemen. So, yeah, I'm more in the –
so you're breaking up a lot. So maybe you can jump off and then jump back on again, see if you get a better connection because you're really breaking up a lot.
I will give that a shot.
All right, let's try that. Sometimes it happens on the internet. It just depends on the connection and stuff. I've been having a lot of weird stuff happen with my phone today where I'll just be talking to somebody and then all of a sudden I can't hear them. I'm like connected, but I can't hear them. It's weird. Anyway, let's see here. Let's get to Charles here. If you don't cut. So let's try this again. If you don't want to cuff yourself by taking a tight end or running back in round one, it's not a premium position. Fix the right tackle hole on the roster or draft an interior pass rusher, a 3-tech or pass rusher. Yeah, and the thing is, they have a right tackle on the roster. They have a couple of them. Jonah Williams, like it or not, right now is most likely going to be our right tackle unless Darnell Wright falls to them. And you have to get DeJuan Jones. I'm not so set on DeJuan Jones being a plug-and-play right tackle. I wouldn't. That's why I wouldn't mind getting him in the second round. And then there's a very good chance Jonah Williams could be a very good right tackle. I mean, he was an average to below average, however people want to say, because I consider him an average left tackle. He had a lot of injuries last year. He's had a lot of injuries throughout his career. But when he's healthy, he's an average left tackle. Now, does that translate over to being an above average right tackle or at least an average right tackle? I don't know. That's where we have to find out. But right now, I think Jonah Williams is the right tackle. Now, the interesting thing is that the Bengals have said multiple times that it's going to be a competition. They haven't even said that Jonah is definitely the right tackle. So that's where, we're all like, well, we don't know who's going to right tackle because they haven't come out and said it yet. And who knows? Maybe Ford. I know Dale doesn't like that at all. Maybe Ford's all right. Maybe Jonah or Jackson Carman. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But if they could draft a Darnell Wright, I definitely think they would do that. Let's see here. Charles. All right, let me go straight to your next. My order preference is right tackle, Bijan, if he's there. Defensive line, Washington. Yeah, that's my preference too. My preference would be to draft a right tackle. Bijan Robinson, if he's there, I'd have a hard time not drafting him. I mean, that would just be, I don't know. He would be insane in this offense, I think. Now, you still got to figure out what they're going to do with Mixon. It sounds like, from what Paul Danner Jr. was tweeting out yesterday, that the Bengals are either going to cut him or restructure, which is kind of what we all have said this whole offseason. They're not going to pay him the money that he is owed. Like or not, that's the way football goes and running backs go. I mean, Zeke Elliott, that's why I keep using this. Everyone, Greg Luther's going crazy for us to sign Zeke Elliott. Well, the Cowboys weren't going to pay him either. So they cut him. They just don't pay running backs that much. I mean, honestly, if you could draft a good one every 4 years. You could draft one, use him for 4 years, let him go walk a free agent, and go draft another one. I mean, you really could do that. It's sad, but that and if the Bengals are going to pay, like we all want them to do, pay Jackpot Joey, pay T. Higgins, pay Jamar Chase, you're going to have to cut money from somewhere, and that's most likely to be running back. And a lot of these defensive players that we have on our team right now, I don't think they're going to get a second contract from the Bengals. Trey Hendrickson, I think he might be gone. Chidobe Awuzie, he might be done after this year. Yes, this will be his third year. You got a 3-year contract. So it's another reason why I think they draft Forbes, because I don't think they're necessarily going to bring Cheeto back. Nothing against Cheeto. I just don't think once they pay Joe and Jamar and T, they're not going to be able to afford everybody. All right, let's see here. Hopefully Skinny can jump back on. Charles, I draft Cam Smith over Forbes. I can't argue with that, but the Bengals have talked to Forbes a lot. Talking to Rico in the spaces today, and he was joking around. He goes, I think they already got a locker picked out for him with his name on it already, which they talked to him so many times. So just going by the tea leaves or whatever, I think the Bengals like Forbes better than anybody else as far as DB goes. Stranger here. Let's see. Tight end works for me. Kuntz should be there. Possibly Kraft. I think Kuntz, definitely Kuntz can be there in the third round, I think, because I've done a lot of mock drafts, and a lot of times Kuntz is there. Now, mock drafts don't necessarily mean exactly that's what's going to happen. It's just the way the numbers are going or whatever. But I think you can get a good tight end in the third round who possibly could be your starting tight end in 2024. So that's the thing is a lot of times it takes tight ends a year or two to really get acclimated to the NFL. Not a lot of them are plug and play guys, especially if you're going to draft one down the second, third, fourth round around there. It takes them a little while to, get acclimated, find their niche, stuff like that. Good morning, Jolly. What's up? How you doing? Like I said, we're waiting for Richard Skinner to jump back on. He was on and he was breaking up. So it was, he might be having internet issues right now. Let me see if he's messaged me or anything. Nope, not yet. Hopefully get back on. I see happening. He said, okay, he tried to jump on. So all right, hopefully Skinny will get his internet back on and we can get this conversation back going here. But right now, until then, I'll talk to you guys. Jerome, what's up? Backup center. Do we need one? Yes. I think, yes. I'll read the rest of them here. I think we need a backup center that can play center and guard. That's where I want. I would like to add that to our depth. I think we have a lot of depth on this offensive line right now, but that is one spot that I would like to improve upon. Then going on here, he says, Trey Hill isn't developed yet, and Ted did get banged up last season. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think you should definitely draft one, sign one. All right, Skinny is trying to say his device is not connected. Let's try this. Add stream. And Skinny is spinning. Let's see here. There you there, Skinny. Freaking internet. See, this is one bad thing. There you go. I see you. Can you hear me, Skinny?
I do. Let's see if it works this time. We've got routine.
I can't hear you at all. You're frozen now. I don't know what's going on.
Back.
Come on, internet. Come back in. I think he's still talking. Can you guys hear him? Hey, Richard, there you are.
Now I'm here.
Is it working?
I've got a maintenance on my laptop at the moment that I got. So
okay. You try it from your phone, see if that works better, because this you're still breaking up a lot.
All right, let's do that.
Let's try that. All right. Try this one more time. Yeah, stranger. Yeah, it seemed worse than it was the first time. I know. It happens. Like I said, I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to the draft talk. But yeah, so the three positions that I think the Bengals are going to try to address in this draft, right tackle. I'll say four: right tackle, cornerback, running back, and then a center / guard is where those are the four positions that I think that they're going to try to get. And people say, would you draft a punter? If we had more than 7 picks, yes, I think they might draft a punter. With only having 7 picks, I kind of doubt it. But that's kind of what I think. Let's see here. Jeremy, what do you think about the safety out of Syracuse? I don't know who. Give me a name here. I'm not sure which one you're talking about there. All right, let's see. It looks better already. There you go, Skinny.
Yeah, I got a maintenance thing going on my laptop that started at like 11 on the dot, and it's still going. So
now we're cooking with gas. Now I can hear. So that's good. That's good.
Good deal.
All right, so let's start this all over again. All right, so like I said, I think the right tackle or running back or tight end is not there. The Bengals have a first round grade on. I think it's gonna be Forbes. What was your thought on the 28 for the Bengals right now?
Yeah, I'm not in the right tackle camp at all. I get people talking about it, but I think the Bengals learned their lesson from offensive linemen in the first round. It's such a crapshoot now taking college offensive linemen. Doesn't mean you don't take them, but that 3rd, 4th, 5th round wheelhouse, maybe a 2nd round reach if you got to that point. I mean, even that hasn't really worked out because we don't know where Jackson Carman is, and he was a 2nd round pick. Right. Cordell Volson was perfect. It was a 4th round pick. If it didn't work out, it's just a 4th round pick. You can't miss on 1st round picks. And I think they've learned the lesson of 1st round offensive linemen. I don't think he'll draft a running back in the 1st round either. There's just too many guys graded, from rounds 2 to 4 that can fit a complementary role or even a lead back role. I mean, this is
what if Bijan's there? I mean, that's a long shot. You still think they draft him
there? And I just don't think they're going to waste a pick on a running back. Okay. When Joe Burrow is the focal point of your offense, right, wasting a 1st round pick on a running back would not fit the scheme of things for me. So I do think it comes down to really 2 position groups, and that would be corner and that would be tight end if one of those guys fell. Yeah. A wide receiver also isn't out of the realm of possibilities. But really, again, the sweet spot for wide receiver seems to be somewhere from 2nd round to 5th round. It's not a high-end draft in wide receiver talent. I mean, if Jordan Addison fell to that spot, I think they would consider it. Mm-hmm. But, for me, the latest mock draft I did last week, and again, we all do them with simulators, right? And the simulators sometimes give you a player that you probably don't believe is going to be there, but you got to take him. And so I took Keely Ringo out of Georgia, but I do love Emmanuel Forbes. I think he'd be a great fit if that was the case as well. And so I think corner is probably the sweet spot. Again, tight end's also pretty deep in this draft when you get to rounds 2 through 4. But if a Mayer's there, I don't think Dalton Kincaid will be there, but Michael Mayer might be. Then I think Michael Mayer's in the ballpark. But to me, it's almost 2 position groups for me. It would be corner, it would be tight end, and maybe a wide receiver if one slipped to that spot.
Right. Yeah. To me, if Michael Mayer's there, I think they're definitely drafting him. And there's a chance, but the 28 is so hard to predict. I mean, it's so hard to figure out how's it going to go. Everybody keeps asking, what do you think they're going to do? I said, it just depends on how the draft goes. I mean, if their tight end is there, they're going to draft him. That's what I think. But if he's not, then they got to pivot and go corner or something else like that. And things, what I'll try to tell people too is we got to pay Jackpot Joey, we got to pay T, we got to pay Jamar. With that being said, all these guys on the defense that we have, like Cheetah Bay and Trey Henderson and these guys, most likely they're not going to get a 2nd contract. So the Bengals have got to replenish them with rookies. And I think that starts happening this year because these contracts are going to start coming up and the Bengals are not going to have the money to pay them. So I think it might be a pretty heavy defensive draft.
Yeah, there's 3 players in that vein. One is Cheeto, obviously, whose contract's up after this year. And, if he plays at the level he played at, he might get paid again. But that's a big ass coming off knee surgery. I hope that's the case for him. DJ Reader's contract is up. I don't think he's going to get re-signed because of what he will cost. And then Tyler Boyd, obviously, and that's where we're talking about the wide receiver situation of getting yourself somebody in the pipeline now. And there's no guarantee that T gets extended. I think it happens. But it could be kind of what the Jesse Bates situation was. Neither side comes to pass. They slap the franchise tag on him. He plays a year on the franchise tag next year. You try to work it out again. If it doesn't work out, you need to have some people in the pipeline for that. And I think they did a great job with Daxel in the last draft of, don't think we're going to be able to re-sign Jesse Bates. And I do think Von Bell surprised them a little bit, but they knew they weren't going to get Bates back. So get somebody early in the pipeline. And that's the fortunate part where they're at as a team right now is they have a chance to draft for the now, right, for depth, but also to really draft with an eye on the future. And honestly, they tried that in 2015. They really did. They thought, hey, listen, we're going to get a couple more years out of Andrew Whitworth. We're going to move on from Andre Smith. We got our left tackle in Cedric Ogbuehi. We're going to get our right tackle in Jake Fisher, and we're going to be set for years to come. And it just failed. I don't blame them. I don't blame them for those picks. Those guys were both graded where they took them, but it just didn't work out. Hopefully this time around, they've done a much better job of their homework and maybe learned some lessons. Like I said, learn the lessons of, boy, offensive linemen coming out of college. You may have a great grade on them, but it's just too much of a crapshoot to waste a first-round pick, maybe even a second-round pick. I mean, look at the last few guys. Fisher was a second-round pick, bust. Wade was a first-round pick, bust. Billy Price was a first-round pick, bust. And the jury's very much still out on a second-round pick in Jackson Carman. Again, he might pan out. Saw him in the locker room the other day. He looked great. He looked like he's slimmed down a little bit, and I think he realizes he's in a competition. Maybe for a starting spot as early as this year. But again, to this point in 2 years, that second-round pick hasn't exactly panned out. So I think they've really learned their lesson of, listen, if we're going to pay for people, we're going to pay for guys with proven NFL tape at that position group, and that's why. Free agent at right guard, free agent at center, free agent at right tackle last year, free agent at left tackle in Orlando Brown this year. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Now you bring up the right tackle situation, and with Jonah moving from left to right, and Jackson Carman, and this is kind of what I said on the show a couple of days ago that I had Mike Petraga on here, Trags, and he called him svelte, slender. Jackson lost weight, and I'm like, well,
wait a minute, whoa, hang on. Did he use svelte with you?
Yes, he did.
So he said that to me in the locker room the other day. He said he looks svelte. I go, dude, that's not svelte. That's trimmer. He looks better. I said, I dare you to use that in your copy. And I don't think he did. So the fact he did it to you, I'm going to see him in about an hour. And I'm going to give him so much crap for using it.
Please do. I did too. He tweeted that out 2 days ago. And I was like, we're all starting to give him crap like svelte. What is that? I'm like, hey, it's slimmer. He's
slimmer.
Shape.
That's correct. I'll give him slimmer.
Yeah. Trags is awesome. I love him. But yeah, with him being svelte, I think it's the light bulb is fine going off. Jackson going, hey, it's put up a showtime. And the Bengals have, and this is what I think's curious, Skinny, is that the Bengals have not come out and said that Jonah Williams is our starting right tackle. They say it's a competition. So that they don't even know if Jonah can play right tackle. I find that very interesting. Just that it's competition there.
Yeah, I do think that the edge is to Jonah. I mean, you're paying him some pretty good change. I don't think you'd pay him that kind of change to be a backup, but there's also the possibility that come training camp, a team suffers a catastrophic injury of some kind, and that's when you get a chance to move Jonah Williams. So I do think it is a competition, but I do think Jonah clearly goes into a camp or into this off season, and Lord knows when he shows up. I mean, I doubt we see him for voluntary workouts. I get it. I fully understand it. That if he doesn't, that will give Jackson Carman a chance to maybe get a leg up in the race for that starting spot. But I think Jonah, when push comes to shove, is going to realize, right tackles are getting paid in this league now. And the left tackles get paid more, but right tackles are getting paid a pretty good piece of change. So I think he'll understand that, and he's a pro. Listen, I understood why Jesse Bates didn't sign his franchise tag till he did last year. He wasn't going to come here and get hurt without having some financial security and without it being close to the season. I think Jonah would probably come in much earlier than that because, again, he is under contract. And when it's the mandatory things like the mandatory minicamp in June and the mandatory training camp, he will be there for those things. Jesse had leverage that he had not signed his franchise tag yet. But anyway, but it will give Jackson potentially a chance to get a little bit of a leg up, and we'll see if he takes it and runs with it.
Yeah, now one thing I've brought this up is I don't know how many people have done this going from, and I always say Jonah Williams is an average left tackle. He's had injuries and stuff like that, but when he's healthy, he's an average left tackle. So does that translate from being an average left tackle to be an above average right tackle? Because it is a quote unquote easier position, but you are switching sides. You're basically doing everything the exact opposite of what you've done your whole career here. So is that something that have you seen guys who go from left to right get better?
I don't know about get better, but I think that left tackle is such a premium because it's the blind side spot, right? I mean, listen, Lyle Collins was not great in pass protection last year. He was pretty good as a run blocker, but he was not very good as a pass blocker. But Joe Burrow overcomes that because he can see that side. I think that's why I always, especially in a league that's dominated by right-handed quarterbacks, that left tackle is such a premium spot because you are protecting the blind spot. So I think if he even is an average right tackle, I think that's still going to be a pretty good right tackle. Good run blocker, pretty good pass blocker at times. And listen, a lot of teams, as you know, they're going to put their premier rushers on that side of the field as well, where the left tackle is. And so that's the other battle that you have to deal with. So I think he'll be fine. It is a transition. I know Brian Callahan talked to us at the combine about, listen, that's a big ask, but a lot of these guys have rep both at times just in emergency. So they've done some of that stuff. I think Jonah will be fine as a right tackle. I can't tell you he's going to be great. He might be great, but he'll be fine. And they'll be fine with him as a right tackle.
Yeah. I mean, as it sits right now, I feel better as with Jonah being the right tackle than I do with anybody else we have on the roster right now. If our offensive line, I think, is the best with him at right tackle right now. Now, if Jax comes in and balls out and plays great, then that's awesome. But right now, on April 20th, to me, Jonah Williams has got to be a right tackle. Yeah. I don't feel comfortable with anybody else, to be honest.
No, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. He will be the right tackle, in my opinion. Again, barring catastrophic injury from another team,
right,
where you can maybe move him at that point. I think he is the right tackle when the season starts.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I've got a couple questions here from the chat here. See, I don't think they're going to do this. I don't know if you probably can't see it, but a stranger here said, I go punter in 7th round. I don't think they're going to take a punter because they only have 7 picks.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't either. I do think they're bringing. Well, I don't even think. I know they're going to bring another punter into camp to compete with Drew Christmas. I mean, Darren Simmons told us that at the combine. Right. We actually, Jay Morse from The Athletic asked him, and it was on my mind when he asked him, so I was glad he did. He asked about Matareza. That the charges were dropped. He was clearly the punt god. I mean, he was going to be Buffalo's punter until all that came up. He is still out there now. Obviously, there's some baggage there, but charges were dropped. Do you bring him in and let him compete? I do think no matter what it shakes down to, there will be another punter in camp competing with Drew Christmas. I just don't see that being a draft pick.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't think it's going to be a draft pick. And one thing, the only way it will be is if the Bengals trade back somewhere and get more picks. If they have more picks, I think they'll do that.
Yeah, I don't see them doing that either. But yeah.
So you don't think they'll trade back at all in this draft?
I don't. I mean, you remember last year they made a trade up to get an extra move up to get a guy that they wanted. I can't remember what round it was, round 5.
That's how they got Cam Taylor-Britt.
Yes, correct. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. You're right. And they lost a later pick with all of that. So I could see them maybe moving up to get rid of a spot. Because here's the other part too. Truth be told, I don't know if all 7 picks make this roster either. Right. That's the other part. I mean, this roster is a pretty good roster as it sits today. Again, doesn't mean you're not looking to fill holes, not looking to add competition, not looking to add depth, not looking for the future. You're doing all those things, but are you going to, if you could move up to get a guy that's on your board and say the 5th round or 4th round or the start of day 3, and you go, hey, we want that guy, and it's going to cost us our 5th round pick this year and maybe something in the future with it to move up a couple of spots. I could see that because again, I don't even know if all 7 draft picks would make the team.
Right. Now, where are you at on 3-tech? Because for me, we still haven't really replaced Larry Ogunjobi. I know Zach Carter was they tried to get him there, and he played okay, but he needs to make a bigger jump this year for us. But where are you at on that? Because I do think that's a big thing, especially at Chiefs game. But we didn't have enough pressure going up the middle as we did before.
Yeah, and I think BJ Hill's good in a role, and I think the role for him the year before in a rotational was great. And I think some of it, unfortunately, for BJ wasn't lack of ability, lack of talent, all those things. I mean, he was forced to play way more snaps than I think they wanted him to play because of injuries and because, again, they had not developed the 3-tech. Zach Carter looks like he's bulked up a little bit. When we saw him the other day, I don't know officially what he weighs at now, but he looked bigger. He looked like he'd added a little bit. And to take on that, because he was kind of a tweener between us. They were trying to make him, as you mentioned, a 3-tech. He played some outside spot at Florida. And that's kind of a big ask. That's the other part, too. If I don't think he would be there, Kalijah Yancey, if he was there in the first round,
I'd like
go
him.
that route. And, I did, like I said, the mock draft I did last week where I took Keely Ringo. I ended up taking a replacement for DJ Reader in the 2nd round from Baylor, but not as much of a 3 technique. He's more of a nose tackle type. But to your point, I do think that they need to address that. Maybe they are hoping that it can be Zach Carter. But again, it wouldn't shock me in this draft in an early round before day 1 or day 2 are out, they don't address the 3 tech as well.
Right. Now, Cansey, does his short arms, does that concern you at all? For me, it doesn't, but it can.
Yeah, no, it does not. I mean, again, just that burst, and maybe, I hate to do this because we all get wowed by combine numbers and combine results, but just, I mean, the fact of his burst, and it just feels like we're doing this stereotypically, but it feels like we're all making that comparison to Aaron Donald because of the pitch comparison, the stature comparison, the athleticism comparison, and that's probably not right to do, but it's fun to make that comparison and think about that, and he certainly is highly regarded. I mean, there's a possibility he's good enough that he's not even there when the Bengals take him. That somebody
I don't think he will be, but
you may be right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what 28 is so interesting. It's so much fun to do mock drafts more now because you don't know. I mean, because it's just at 28, it just depends on how the draft goes.
It was no fun doing mock drafts the year that Joe Burrow was coming out because that became very. You almost had to take a contrarian point a couple of times just to do something different to go. Okay, I'm going to trade back, and I'm going to get I'm going to trade back, and I'm going to do this. And at the end of the day, you knew what was going to happen. You knew it was going to go, and so you were easy in the first round, and then from there, nobody really cared after that.
It's Skinny. I still remember people trying to argue with me about who was the defensive end out of Ohio State that year?
Oh, Chase Young. Yeah, Chase Young.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, you got to get Chase Young." Are you freaking nuts?
I did that in a mock draft where I thought, okay, I'm going to get my cake and eat it too. I'm going to trade back. I'm going to get Chase Young, and then I'm going to get Tua. I'm going to get two for the price of one. When we all knew that was never.
Yeah, there's people are legitimately saying that. I'm like, Joe Burrow is one of the best college quarterbacks I've ever freaking seen. I'm like, yeah, they're drafting him. Like, that's a no-brainer. But yeah, 28 is different. Now, let's get to 60 here. This is where I know you said you're out on tackles. I think they might, if Juwan Jones is there, and I know he's dropping a lot because he won't get on scale, and people think he's out of shape. Well, he is out of shape. But I think if Juwan Jones is there, there's a chance they might draft him. Where are you at 60?
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of it, that's the funny part. A month ago, I did 2 mock drafts in one story where I took the tight end route. Michael Mayer fell to me, right? And then I kept refreshing it to the point where somebody had taken Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid ahead of that spot to force me to make another pick. And that went the cornerback. I think that's where I took Jordan Addison. I went to wide receiver route. But as I said, the most recent one I did the cornerback route. So I think a lot depends on that. And again, it also depends on their board too, right? I mean, and I think that's the positive part to this is you're not, the year they drafted Billy Price, they definitively needed a center, and
they had to draft him
off the board, and they drafted him, and it was probably not the right pick, even though I understood why they did it. I think everybody understood why they did it. It was a definitive need for them, and so they forced their own hand, and I think that again that's the good part, I think, for Duke Tobin and his guys, and even with this coaching staff, is they've gone to school on some of the things they've done of forcing a pick, forcing your hand, going the offensive line college route, all those things. So, yeah, to your question, I do think a lot of it depends on where things go in the first round because there's a bunch of second-round tight end grades. There's a handful of wide receiver tight end grades. The sweet spot for them at running back, for running back has been the second round.
Right.
Joe Mixon was a second rounder.
Corey Dillon.
Jeremy Hill was a second rounder. Giovanni Bernard was a second rounder. That's kind of been their sweet spot of taking the next running back has been the second round. So there's just a lot of ways. And I hate to cop out because there's a lot of ways they can go, especially what they do in that first round.
If the kid from Alabama, the running back from Alabama is there.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Gibbs, if he's there, I totally see them grabbing him. I don't think he'll be there at 60, but I
don't either. I don't either. But again, I'm kind of with you on that regard. I mean, if he's there, he's certainly intriguing enough to. Right. Again, that's been their sweet spot for running back.
Yeah, I like the kid out of Tulane.
Spears.
Spears, yeah. Well, because I watch him kick the Bearcats' ass.
No, he's good.
Yeah,
he's good. He's going up some boards too. I love the athletics. Draft guy, Dane Brugler's draft
guy. The Beast.
Really good, the Beast. And I think he's got Ty J as a second/third round guy, kind of that tweener round guy. But I know in some mock drafts I've seen he's gone in the second round. So that could be a guy as well. So that's why I go back to that seems to be their sweet spot. If they miss, there's a lot of third and fourth round backs. If you go back to last year, they ran the ball an average of 20 times per game if you take out Joe Burrow's scrambles. So between a Travion Williams getting 4 or 5 touches, your draft pick getting 10 touches, maybe another veteran, a cheaper veteran getting a handful of touches, I think you can piecemeal that position. I think if you looked, I can't remember the graphic that came out right after the Super Bowl, but the last 10 Super Bowl winning teams, the running backs that were the featured backs were kind of guys you're like, oh, that guy, or that guy was Like Leonard Fournette was on a very cheap contract even with Tampa Bay the year that they won the Super Bowl. Last year,
Yep.
it was a 7th-round pick. Isaiah Pacheco became the featured back towards the end for Kansas City. So that position is being devalued. Peter Brand on Good Morning Football on NFL Network, I think he has said it best. And he says it in jest, but he also says it seriously. That he says, I would tell moms and dads, if you want your son to be a football player, don't let them play running back because they're just not getting the way they used to.
Well, Richard, you can honestly, I've got this point where you can draft one every 4 years. You draft one, let him do his rookie contract, and let him walk and draft another one, and you probably can be perfectly fine, especially with Joe Burrow as your quarterback. I mean, you don't necessarily need one.
Yeah, and listen, I got why they did the second contract with Joe Mixon at the time. He was very much the point of this team. They needed to prove maybe to the rest of the team and maybe the NFL and those in the NFL, listen, we're going to take care of our guy. But I think that's a regrettable contract now. Again, I'm not going to ding them for it. I get why they did it, but I think you're at that point where you're just not paying that running back a second contract.
Right, exactly. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got to get out of here and go talk to Duke Tobin. But tell everybody about your podcast and anything else you want to plug before I let you go.
Here, I got all kinds of draft coverage. I'm doing a day-by-day positional analysis. I've got the quarterback spot up at this point, running back, wide receiver, doing the tight end position today. That'll run through next Wednesday. I'll do a final mock draft next Thursday. Got draft coverage today. And you mentioned the podcast as well.
Awesome. And you are going to try to jump on our draft coverage sometime that weekend when you have time. So I appreciate that.
Yep.
So I appreciate. I'm looking forward to that. Me and Dale are going to be on for like 27 hours talking. So it's going to be a long day.
A lot of coffee, brother.
Exactly. All right, Richard. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, man.
You bet, Ice. Take care.
See ya. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Even we got through the technical difficulties, even his phone started breaking up there a little bit. So he's going to go interview Duke. Either he's interviewing Duke Tobin or Duke Tobin's got a press conference. One of the two. He's going to go talk to Duke. So, that guy's a little more important than Ice. So anyway, let's see here. Let's get to I saw your questions. I knew you had to leave soon, so I couldn't. Sorry, I missed these, Charles and Stranger. So Mayor Cater there. They're gone. Who's the best Bengal tight end for the Bengals second and fourth? Well, I like Kuntz, Kraft. Those guys could be there. I think they're the thing is, I would love to get Michael Mayer, Cincinnati kid. There is, the more I look into this, there's so many tight ends, and there's so many that are ranked that can play in the NFL that you can get in the second, third round. And now that we've got Irv Smith, we don't have to have that guy. I mean, we have to draft one because I think the Bengals are tired of having to go out and sign a free agent. So I think they're gonna definitely draft one, because if we didn't sign Irv Smith, we'd have had to draft two of them. Now we only got to draft one tight end. So I think the more like I said, unless Michael Mayer is there or Kincaid, I think it's going to be more of second, third round is where they're going to draft, and that's Kuntz, that's Kraft, guys like that who I think will be good tight ends for the Bengals moving on. And Stranger would just say, if we take a right tackle round one, I'd love to trade Jonah and our 60 our second round pick to an early round 2 pick 3, get Washington round 2. Yeah, Turk tomorrow. That would be cool. Let's see. So you want Jonah and our second round and get it depends on, see, right now, Jonah Williams by himself, it gets you like a 6th round pick. I mean, honestly, that's about where they're at with him. I don't know if Jonah and the 2nd round pick is going to get you that. But I like where your head's at, though. I mean, that wouldn't be bad. But I kind of look skinny. They might not draft a tackle. They might not. And look, we got 3 options. Number 1 is Jonah. Right now is before training camp earlier. Right now is Jonah. I think behind that is Jackson Harmon. And then you still have LC. And now LC is coming back from knee surgery. I don't think he's going to be ready till at the earliest October. So I think he's going to start on PUP. So that's another option. They have enough guys there that I think they can make it work. The biggest thing is we got a left tackle set, And the funny thing is, Jonah Williams is the only guy left from the offensive line that started the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Do you guys realize that? That's how much the Bengals have changed this offensive line, how much they have worked at changing this offensive line. because it was so bad, because they missed on Wade. They missed on Fisher. They let Whitworth go. They screwed it up so bad. It was. But the thing is, too, I always try to put it this way, too. If they didn't do all that stuff and the Bengals sucked for a couple years, we wouldn't have got Joe Burrow. So it's always okay. That sucked going through that, but we got the best quarterback in the freaking league. We got Jackpot Joey. So it is what it is, but it is just ironic of how the Bengals are working on trying to get this fixed. And right now, Jonah Williams, if he's your starting right tackle, and Atlanta Brown is your starting left tackle, and everybody else is the same as last year, this is the best offensive line that Joe Burrow's ever played behind. This is the best offensive line that Joe Mixon will ever ran. And I said that last year, which it was. I mean, we won 10 games in a row, people. I mean, I know people are like, I was still going to rap that for some reason our offensive line was horrible. Our offensive line wasn't horrible last year. They were at the beginning of the season, it was awful. I'll give you that. It was awful. But that 10-game winning streak, offensive line was pretty damn good. So you got to remember that. And we just added one of the best left tackles in the league. So we'll see. Crown, thanks, buddy. I'm glad you enjoyed the interview, even though it's kind of hard to hear him sometimes just on the internet. That's just the way it goes. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to do a show at 5:30. I know Bengals and Brewers is going to have one at 3:30. I'm going to try to jump on that one. Got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. And this week we got people in town. My daughter's prom is this weekend, so I've been trying to get the house all ready and everything. So, and by the way, I thought I canceled my show yesterday because I was working on my house and I just could not get on the show. John Sheeran was going to jump on, and I appreciate John. He was going to jump on. I just couldn't get to do the show. And if people were commenting on the show, wondering where it was at, that's my fault. I thought I canceled it, but apparently I didn't because I was told people were wondering where the hell I was at. So my apologies for yesterday. Like I said, it just didn't work out that I was able to do it. But I appreciate you guys jump on now at lunch hour, and I hope you enjoyed the interview I had there with Skinny. Like I said, Skinny and Trags are two of my favorite guys because if they can jump on, they will. I appreciate the hell out of that, and I love talking to both of them. I mean, so if you're not following either one of them, you should be. Definitely follow them. Go watch the podcast. Go read their articles. They're really good dudes, and I appreciate all the help they give me because they give me some legitimacy. It's kind of like Svelte. Anyway, let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And as always, I appreciate every single one of them. They are Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Radical Reds, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trenopole. TikTok is at Iceman90. Twitter. Now, I put a poll out there because I switched my logo. I asked you guys this yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before. I switched my logo. I can go back to the other one. It's right there. It's the same. I mean, that's still one of my logos. But my son does not like the new logo. He thinks it looks stupid. I think it looks pretty cool. Shout out to Houday Joe for making it for me. I think it looks pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going the poll right now. The old logo is winning. It was like 80% to 60% or something. So we still got a couple more hours till the poll comes off. So go vote, whichever one you like, the new one or the old one. It's on Twitter. Let's see. I will be pulling this out later on tonight, putting it on the podcast. It'll be on Beanpod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a 5-star review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. YouTubers, you guys are awesome. I'm up to 2,187 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors about Bengals Talk with Strawberry Ice. I'm trying to figure this out of how you get shows to 1,000 views and averaging that. I don't know, because I've looked at other guys who have more subscribers, not that many more subscribers, but they keep getting 1,000 views every single time. And I would love to figure out what I'm not doing. Anyway, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, go watch my show. Give me some more views. I'd appreciate it. I should be back tomorrow. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, check out Bengals and Brewers for sure at 3:30 today. I might be back on at 5:30. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's why I asked you to subscribe, because you never know when I'm going to go live. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. I might see you at 5:30. I might see you at 3:30. I might not see you till tomorrow. Other than that, you guys have a great day. And that's just sports, baby. See ya!
talked about it yesterday, just that chip on your shoulder. Everyone talking about a neutral AFC championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. Back-to-back champs, kings of the north with it. Thinking they can hang with us, still ain't jumped out the porch with it. Long bomb to chase every Sunday, watch him go and get it. Double up on him, then we gon' double down on T. Higgins. Then throw Boyd in the mix, now you really iffy. Every Sunday showing boys how to really gritty. They try to shuffle up the game on us, but they ain't icky. Flip the coin, kick the toe, Roger to go and get it. Never know what's gonna happen when Joe drop back. He get shiesty in the pocket, I get shiesty on the track. Nobody on the team all pro, that's all cap. Most all around team in the NFL, that's all fact. Ain't came across nobody yet that seem like they can hang with us. They said we couldn't be Buffalo, but see how we call they bluff. Underdogs every week, they keep on trying to label us. Put your money on us, even if Vegas don't favor us. No matter what, we really came up, now it's hard to fail. I dare you come across that middle, Von gon' ring your bell. I know we under they skin, them boys built frail. Eli Apple out there chirping like a next tail. You don't want Salmon Trey to come off them ends. Rita clogging up the middle like a big body Benz. Right behind them Logan and Pratt, the turnover twins. Jesse Bates in the backfield just to clean up the loose ends. We just drafted Cam and drafted Hill. Instant gratification every time that they on the field. We can't go back to what we was, cause that's the loser way. It's been hard to throw on us since we picked up a Woozy. It's like win after win, feel like we could really do it. Zach Taylor doing his thing for the city, I give it to him. And I bet Samaji will find a hole if you give it to him. Hayden Hurst don't need a hole, he just plan on running through him. Just hand it off to 28 and let him do the dash. Getting hit by BJ Hill probably feel like a car crash. Every week it seem like Lou digging deeper in his bag. And if the game on the line, all my favorite money match. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up.
What do we say, Dolph?